Peace, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Health and Wellness with your boy King. Today, we're going to keep it short and sweet. We're going to touch off on some simple topics that I know a lot of entrepreneurs and people who want to get into the business world really have questions about. And I've spoken to a lot of people about this, especially on Saturdays in the barbershop. It's super easy to get caught up in people having opinions, but the one thing that people really can't have an opinion on is facts. And when it comes down to the simple principles, of operating and owning a business, facts are facts. You're gonna need these five simple, well, simple to some, but not simple to others. You're gonna need these principles to get it done. So let's get right into it. Okay, the first important principle is ambition. So what do I mean by ambition? Really, I think ambition goes with any goal setting. If you're not ambitious, then really, what are you doing? You have to have a goal or a vision that you're working towards every day. And if you're not, then you're really not doing anything. The second important principle, self-motivation. Self-motivation is generally what it says, self-motivated. You can't rely on anybody to get you out of bed or to get you going, especially when you're doing long hours. You're sacrificing hours that you could spend with your family generally to improve a business or a structure that you're trying to create. And if you're not the type of person that's with it, then it's something that you shouldn't even try. And that's just general because, as we all know, most small businesses fail within the first 2 to 3 years. And I really believe it's all because of lack of self-motivation, a lack of pushing yourself to get up. When you don't have an HR or you don't have a manager or representative that's working for a company, that's really threatening you or reaching out to you every day or giving you the point system or whatever jobs nowadays have in place, then it really makes it kind of hard or really difficult for yourself to succeed because you have to push yourself. You're the one every day saying, hey, I got to get up. I got to go do this. And no one's there to do it for you. So in my opinion, self-motivation is really key. Third important principle, you must have knowledge. So you wouldn't play a game you don't know the rules to, right? You wouldn't step on the field and not know what's the out of bounds. Having knowledge of what you're trying to do or what you're trying to be successful at, that is key. It's plain and simple. If I wanted to own this barbershop, but I had no idea of how to cut hair or what the rules and safety and safety and sanitations were, what really good would I be? I probably failed within the first year by spreading ringworm or something else to the public. So I think it's in the best interest, have knowledge, extensive knowledge on the topic or the subject on what you want to go into business for. And not even just that, it's better to master that topic because that's the only way you can improve. There's no way that I can be better at cutting hair or even talking to people in this barbershop setting if I wasn't trying to master it since I was a child. And that's all it is. I obtained the knowledge on my subject well before I even thought about owning a barbershop or even being a barber. I knew it was something that I was so interested in that I was passionate about. I just didn't have the knowledge to know that I could make a living off of this and I could be happy doing it. So it was generally something that I took to and decided that, it's important. And when I decided it was important, I went and did studies, I went and did research, and here I am today. So my if I had to rank my top five, technically I'm giving it to you third, but knowledge is number one. The fourth important principle, you must have a will to sacrifice. All right, guys, so pretty much it is what it is. When I set this place up, I probably spent 72 hours in here almost straight, where I probably only went home for maybe 3 or 4 hours just to sleep. Nobody knew. Everybody assumed that there was a crew in here doing it for me. No, I put everything in here myself. I did everything myself. My will to sacrifice was so great, but only because I knew when I was done sacrificing, I would have years of enjoyment from that sacrifice. So my tip to you today, if you have a dream, you have some type of goal that you need to meet, Don't be afraid to sacrifice a little time or a little fun in order to meet that goal or that dream, because it's part of the celebration at the end. Yeah, I could have went to the club with those hours. I could have been at home with my family. I could have took my wife on a date. I could have did a lot of things. But the reality is I needed to put this together, and I didn't have the money for a crew. I didn't have a lot of friends who had the free time to come through and help me paint. It just wasn't possible. And to this day, I'm really proud of myself more than it's just happy to own something, because I know every nook and cranny, and I know every front and fold of everything that I have here. So it's beneficial, and it also is a testament of your resolve. Are you willing to give up a night of partying or a couple drinks with some friends or whatever it is to be successful? How bad do you really want it? Is it something that you really, really want, or is this just something that you think sounds good? Sacrifice is always been a part of becoming better. I don't know one person, whether it's your favorite rapper spending hours in the studio, or your favorite chef spending hours in the kitchen, or your favorite athlete spending hours in the gym. Those people are choosing not to go out and do what they want to do because they're doing what they have to do. And that's something that you have to decide, as is it going to be a principle that you will, take up when you're trying to make your dream come true. My last principle: must have a healthy obsession with whatever your goals are. All right, guys. So I know it sounds crazy. An obsession of any sort shouldn't be healthy. But when you're going into something that you want to create for a lifetime, or at least that's how you should look at it. No business should ever be a fly-by-night situation. You should always look at something that this should be a staple, or this should be something that I want to do for umpteenth amount of years. But you should want to have a healthy obsession with it. Like, even if I'm out of town, or if I'm not here, if I'm gone, I could just be at home. I check on my shop. It's like a kid. It's like my child. This is my other child in a sense, because I've nurtured it. I took it from nothing and created it into something. And the more that I put into it, the more that it will prosper. And one day, hopefully, it'll be to the point where I won't even have to operate. I can just sit back and reap the benefits of it. But it's all about my obsession with it and never wanting to let it go. There's no amount of money you could offer me for my business at this point. Because my love for it is so high that it's just not there. The sentimental value is just there because it's all I think about sometimes. Don't get me wrong, I think about my family. I love them to death. But they are obsessed with this shop too. Reason being, it feeds them. It makes sure that they have clothes on their back, that they have shoes on their feet, and that was the point. I didn't want to make anything that would just be fun and flashy and, oh yeah, you can have fun here. No, I wanted to make something that the clients can appreciate, that the barbers will appreciate, and in turn your family will appreciate. Because when they see that it works, then it's that much better. You get what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't want to have a fast food restaurant that doesn't sell food. Why? Yeah, you could say it. It sounds great. Oh yeah, I own something. But is it working? You know what I mean? Is it working? And in my opinion, the only way that it'll truly work is when you're obsessed about its success. All right, wrapping this episode up, episode 2 in the books, I just want to say, these principles are near and dear to me. Only because the way I look at it, yeah, I could make a video telling you how to get your occupancy license, or how to get your EIN number, your tax ID number, for those of you who don't know, or how to get a peddler's license so that you can sell snacks and whatever in your establishment. But you know that, because if you're looking at this video, you're probably that far, and if you're not, leave a comment. I'll make a video about that. But generally, when you really look at it, these principles are what I needed to get through building my business and operating my business. Because, yeah, anybody can make a business. There are companies that create startups every day. and they sell those startups every day to people who don't hold these principles, and then they die out. Where if you're not ambitious, you're not a self-motivated person, you're not knowledgeable on the subject and what you're trying to go into business for, or you don't have that will to sacrifice the time or put in effort, and you're just not obsessed with being successful, how can you really say that you'll be successful in business in general? You know, those are things you got to ask yourself. It's just coming from a person who's done it. You know, I've realized that it's not easy, but it's actually quite fun when you look at it. When you're willing to go through the process, you can make it enjoyable. But generally, you won't have fun for the first 5 years. That's key. That's key to remember as well. The first 5 years is going to be ups and downs. It's going to be sacrifices that will go lead to nowhere. But at the end of the day, as long as your doors stay open and you're making $1, you're being successful. Because that's the key. Just staying open. It's not being a millionaire. It's not being a billionaire and selling it and moving to Boca Raton. It's generally keeping the doors open and keeping your name positive in these streets, because that's what matters when you own a business. Every day, businesses close up every day, B. What can you do? You can be successful in your own right. All right, guys, that is my episode. Again, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody. Check me out. All right, y'all, take it easy. Peace.